Hey, what's up, folks? HHRS Radio Show, man. If you were on that last show, we went almost 3 hours, and man, it was heavy. And you know what? We decided to do is we decided to come back and do a quick show for you guys, and just kind of do heavy hitter stuff. I talked to Jeezy. He was actually in a robe during the last show, so I think he might have been naked. And so he went to put some clothes on and kind of check in with the family, and he said that he may try to come back, and if not, that's okay too. But I told him that we were going to go ahead and start. We're going to do Reading Rumbo, and we have the lady of the house, man, the one and only Run MC. We have her in the house, man.
Run is the itch.
And then we have DJ.
I miss protein bars though.
We have DJ Long Green in the house, and then we also have that voice you hear. The other voice you hear is the one and only our little Gritty. Man. He's in with us tonight. And so
Gritty hanging out tonight.
And so we're doing we're gonna do Reading Runbo, and then we're gonna do a couple other things, and then we're gonna get out of here. It's gonna be quick. So if you want to listen to the other show is heavy. This one not heavy. We're gonna be light. Is it? Can we have a heavy hitters radio show light?
Lightfoot.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
I don't
heavy hitters on a diet.
Okay. And matter what, speaking of diet, look at that neck right there. Look at that.
Look at you.
I'm coming back, man.
Are your collarbones sticking out yet?
Oh yeah, look.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm coming back.
What's up, baby?
Coming
Don't
back.
hurt them, North American moose.
Huh?
Don't hurt them, North American moose.
Hey, man, I'm not sure if I like that, man. I'm not sure if I like North American moose. Like, I'm starting to be a little bit offended by it, man. I'm black moose.
You want to be called American, not North American? So you want to be known by your country and not your continent?
That's right. Like, when y'all say Africans and all that, I ain't with all that.
So you're Nigerian and not African.
No. I'm North
Yes, that's what you just said.
Listen. You try to be activist. I was born on.
So fired up these days.
I was born on 10th Street.
Come at me.
Hallville, USA.
Right, USA, America.
See this belly right here? The Long's Bakery on the west side.
Yeah.
I can do this naturally.
Right.
Like, all that stuff is real. Okay? For me.
I won't let my twin hear this story.
Who you not?
It is.
How old is she?
My twin?
Yeah, how old is she?
She's only 10.
Okay, so it's going to have a lot of innuendos.
Pineapples.
It won't curse.
Excuse me, Dad.
She ain't listening. She trying to get me off so I can play games.
It's like Shrek times 10.
Yeah.
Shrek times 6. Oh, then I know it's got a lot of punchlines. Let's go.
Yes. So tonight's Reading Runbo story is called Come Swing With Me. Oh, I'm so excited. Tim and Kate are swingers. They really love to swing. They swing high. Oh. They swing low. They swing with Sally. They swing with Joe. Hey, Joe's black, everybody.
No, look at those eyes. Why does he got to look like that?
He also has a jack of spades on his shirt.
Why does this story sound like Long Green?
It's going to be amazing. Listen, when they swing, there is no norm. They swing with girls. They swing with boys. They wear their pearls and they swing with toys.
I'm sorry, are those pearl necklaces?
Yes. They swing with masks. They swing in leis. It's like COVID. But if you ask, they will both say, we want to swing with a unicorn. They switch, they swap. They push, they pull. Bet they do. Their swinging parties are always full. Kate will swing with 6 or more, while Tim takes pics galore. Tim likes to watch, so he does. Oh, Tim likes to film it just because. They swing in France and in Manila. Oh, goodness. They even swing with plain vanilla. They swing all night from dusk till morn, hoping to find a unicorn. I'm very intrigued by this unicorn. They know she's out there within their reach. Oh, goodness. Someday they will swing with her on the beach. When they try to find that beauty, Tim will swing with something fruity. Oh, the end. That one was horrible. I'm so disappointed in it.
Did you say Shrek times 10? I think you need a different analogy.
Usually they are, man. Put Tony's nuts in your mouth was real Shrek times 10. Tony had chocolate dipped nuts and everything, and your mom likes to suck on them. I mean...
No, what about that? What about that thing with the glove? The old boy with the glove.
Thank the monkey lends a hand.
This story sounded like this is where porn and gangbang was created.
That one was horrible. I'm so sorry to let everyone
Hey,
down.
Gritty, but this was light compared to the other ones, though, I think.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
The other ones were amazing.
Yeah, this was light.
Run MC, can you do it? Run MC, I need to catch a rerun episode. Catch me up on some of those later on.
You gotta go back and listen, man. We've been doing the last 5 weeks, probably.
Oh my gosh.
D-Lo, we can't hear you, buddy. Yeah, you're just real low all of a sudden.
I don't know.
It's weird. So as soon as you put that Golden State jersey on, man, you got low, man.
Gotcha.
That was hilarious.
Horrible.
All right.
You were amazing. I'm
gonna jump off of here and finish kicking it with my young lads while they up.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Those are towards the front of the shows.
Huh? What'd you say?
Combos are towards the beginning of the shows.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to catch it.
Gotcha.
Long Green D-Lo just hit me with the Zoom, and I was finishing up a meeting. I'm like, I'll jump on here real quick. I didn't know I didn't even realize it was the heavy hitters. I forget. I thought y'all did Tuesdays.
Yesterday was the blackout.
Oh, got it. Because when I came in and I heard the stuff about the Olympics, I'm like, I thought that's what the call was about. I'm like, oh, how do I get down? I need to figure out I would like to volunteer for that.
Hey man. Speaking of that,
could be involved in that. I didn't forget about you on the other stuff. I've been talking. We got to get things figured out for the school system.
I'm here, man. I'm right here, man.
Are we still live on Spreaker?
We are still live on Spreaker. Hey, it's the Heaviest Radio Show. You know what? We're making business deals and doing our thing. We really can't hear D-Lo, but we love him anyway. Sounds like our little Gritty's going out. But, hey, man, we appreciate you being here. This is Moose Lee Bakehouse, man.
Y'all. Appreciate y'all.
And I tell you what, man. Watch out for Gritty. Gritty, give us a rundown of all things you're interested in, man, so we can be abreast of it.
Well, I'm doing some, my day job is with brokerage. So I'm kind of focused on right now building up a side vessel to that with a trucking company with some things. And then I love the kids, so I'm building up the non-for-profit to help brand some of the less fortunate of all colors, and working on that. A couple things for some food restaurants. So kind of got my hands in a couple things, man. I think this quarantine, this COVID is is really trying to like birth the beast out of me. Like I've been going through some ish the last few years, so it's like, yeah, this is 2020. People waiting for 2020 to be over, but I think this 2020 is going to be that good lick for me. So I'm looking, things is looking good. I'm always looking to build rapport, especially with the fam, that heavy hitters fam, see how we can all assist one another and jump in each other's lanes and assist and build and so forth. So, yeah, it's good, man. It's busy. It's good. It's a lot of learning and a lot of growing, man. Right now, my thing is trusting the process and grinding for progress. That's my slogan.
That's fancy. I like that.
That's my slogan. That's how my life is living.
All right.
So that's it. That's all.
Hey, brother.
Boss.
Yo.
Huh?
Before we get out of here, can I give a Brewing review on something I feel like it's timely from a music perspective?
Yes, but man, you gotta get closer to your computer. You gotta do something, brother.
Man, I adjusted the mic.
Perfect.
I can hear you. You're good.
All right, cool. So my Brewing review, I got to go back to 2016 for this one. But T.I. released an album in the wake of a lot of the police murders and what have you. It was called Us or Else, Letter to the System. It's really one of the most socially active albums that I can remember in the last 10 years plus. But it gives a great breakdown of some things that are still going on to this day. It's dated just a little bit because it has references to a lot of the victims that were had situations in 2015, 2016. So just from a name standpoint, it's a little bit dated, but the messages are still exactly the same. This album is incredible to me, just from the lyrics, the beats, like it's everything. Like, and right now, it's so timely. I got to give this a retro Zero Brews, man. So please check out the T.I. album, Letter to the System. It's well worth your time.
Man,
that's a good call on Brews and Reviews. Perfect timing.
Letter to the System.
Perfect timing.
Hey, so you know what? I know there's a lot of people out there. Letter to the System, man, on Apple Music. I'm checking it out. I'm gonna check it out when we get off the air. By the way, I've seen a lot of people watching. A lot of allies, which are pilgrims typically, are watching Just Mercy. Just Mercy is free right now on Apple TV if you want to watch that. So that's free. And then obviously, what's that one, that Thug Life one? How come I can't think of the name of it? The Hate You Give. The Hate You Give is also out there, man. So guys, if you want to watch any of those two movies, they are free. Hey, can I tell you something? Moose watched both of them and did not fall asleep on either of them, which is a huge accomplishment. So I'm gonna say Zero Brews and no sleep from Moose. No sleep from Moose, which means that those movies are amazing. As a matter of fact, and I'm not even trying to flex right now, but I watched The Hate You Give a year ago today when I was wheels up to Heathrow. If anybody knows where Heathrow is, and that's on you. But I watched The Hate You Give wheels up to Heathrow, so which makes it even more difficult to stay awake. And I stayed awake the entire time. So anyway.
I will say
we took our kids to see that movie when it came out the theater. That's an excellent movie.
Amazing.
Zero Brews.
That book
Zero
is
Brews.
so amazing. It will be one that you want to just stay up and finish the whole book in one sitting. Angie Thomas wrote it. She wrote another book called On the Come Up, and she's got another one coming out in January that's on pre-order called Concrete Rose. So that's actually going to tell the story of Star's dad, Maverick, when he is a young adult. Two other documentaries I want to throw out there since we were talking about ally movies, if you will. Both on Netflix. 13th is a documentary of the prison system. And
is that up still?
Yep, it's still on Netflix. I just watched it the other day. And then
that came out a couple years ago.
If you have not seen it, you need to watch When They See Us.
What's
Oh,
that?
yeah.
What's that
Or
about?
if you have seen it, watch it again.
You said When They See Us?
He's on rated 5.
Okay, yeah.
Central Park 5, Zero Bruise.
0 bruise. 7 boxes of Kleenex, but 0 bruise.
Zero Bruise.
It's very sad.
Did you say 7 boxes of Kleenex?
Yeah, but honestly, the Oprah interview afterwards is really the one that got me crying. Because Antoine said, I just wanted to play baseball. And I just sobbed because he was 14 when he got arrested.
And tried like an adult.
Yep, and he said, because Oprah said, what were your thoughts the day before that? And he said, I just wanted to play baseball. And I had to pause it to cry.
So I got a question for you, Ron, and I'm not recording right. Well, we're on the show, but we're not. I'm not recording the video. So, like, with your exposure to a black family, all right, you've been exposed to a black family. A strong dad. A strong dad, educated young boys, three of them, in different stages of their life, that kind of thing. Does that make you more of an ally because you've been exposed to it? So you've been at the barbecue, you've been at the house, you've been in the car, you've been at the driving lesson, you've been, all those things. Does that make you more of an ally because you've seen that? I want you to be 100%, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think it makes me more of an ally because I think anybody can join this fight, but I think it naturally makes me more educated because I saw it secondhand. And so my experience is a little bit different than some other allies who have read about these instances or maybe who have not experienced it at all, but they know this injustice is wrong. I will say that especially with everything that's currently happening, I worry a lot about these young black men in the communities where they are and how they might be treated. I feel like, so recently a lot of people have reminded me that I'm white, so I don't know that. And they say, well, you're white, your privilege is no different than mine. How do you know about oppression? And my answer is, I am white, and I do have the same white privilege as you. But, like, I've taken time to expose myself and learn about things and work on myself. The allyship is a lot of heart work. It's a lot of reflecting. It's a lot of focusing on what's in your heart and standing up for what you believe is right, no matter who you lose in that process. But also, it's daily work. Every single day you have to work at that. And if you're not willing, it's hard. It's a lot. I told the heavy hitters, but I recently texted Miss Lee, if you were on our first show tonight. And it was about 3 days after all the pineapples hit the fan. And I started speaking out on Facebook. I had a lot of people that I've known my whole life trying to argue with me. My own mother wanted to get into an altercation on Facebook, and I texted her one evening and I said, man, like, I'm just tired after today. Like, I'm mentally exhausted. And the next morning I texted her back and I said, how selfish of me to think that I was exhausted. I've been doing this for like 3 days, and black people have to do it every second of every single day. And so I think that retrospectiveness and that reflection is really, really important for any ally. We, the allies, are not here to overpower the black voice. We're here to amplify it. And unfortunately, a lot of white people don't want to hear about the struggle from black people. So a lot of those conversations need to at least start with the allies to give that exposure to people that they're close with, because it's easier to hear about it than be forced to face it. And so I think while being exposed to a black family does not make me a stronger ally, I think it makes me a more educated ally because I can rely on my own experiences, but then also what I've seen in the black family. It's almost like I've lived two different lives. at some point. Like, I grew up totally different than how I live my life now. And so I'm able to use both of those experiences to help bring awareness to what's happening and help communicate with other people who may not see the world the same way that I do.
Man, that makes total sense. That makes total sense, man, for sure.
I like that.
Hey, D-Lo, I want to ask you this,
like
by the way.
for us. You like a spy for us.
It was something she said, man. Like, so, D-Lo, do you think that if we have allies similar to Run, do we lose credibility? And this is the question I'm gonna ask. Like next week, I'm gonna try to assemble a similar panel that we had this past week, right? And so I gotta remember, I gotta write this down to ask this question. Do we lose credibility? Do we lose credibility by having the allies be seemingly stronger than us?
One more time. Do we lose credibility? What?
Do we lose?
Hey, Gritty, can you mute for a second? I can't quite hear.
Do we lose credibility? Do we lose credibility by having allies seemingly stronger than the black folks that are in the fight?
I mean, absolutely not. I mean, because the level of understanding in the black community is going to differ, just like the level of understanding among allies is going to differ. So, I think anywhere where we can combine strength, and if we have strong allies, hopefully they have influence that they can convey. So I don't look at it as negative. Even the civil rights movement had whites and Jewish folks that were a part of the movement. So at this day and age, we've at least figured out that it's going to take white faces going into white spaces advocating on our behalf, as opposed to the old thought that we have to have a white politician come into the black church and tell us themselves how wrong this situation is and confess the sins of white folks among the black parishioners. Now we fully understand, listen, you've been doing that for 40, 50 years, coming into the black church and saying, we've got to change the system. We've got to change the system. You people are being left behind. Now you've got to go into your own space and you've got to be able to advocate. And, what I'm saying, it's not an easy process, but the message has to be heard, not in my community, but in your community. And they don't want to hear that message from people that look like myself. You know what I'm saying? They're much more comfortable hearing that message from another pilgrim or someone like Ron, who is an ally who can relate to that demographic. So I think it's very powerful, because it's not like Black Lives Matters means that, black folks are all of a sudden going to take over and wipe out the pilgrims, But if we're going to coexist together, how do we coexist? By relying on strong allies who have great experience, great understanding, and are great communicators to be able to help get the message across, so that collectively we can improve this situation that we're in.
Yep, and D-Lo, I will say the nervousness of white people to have these conversations has a real fancy term, and it's called white fragility, and it is real.
For sure. And I've had the pleasure of reading a lot of your conversations on Facebook since all this started last week, and I'm really appreciative of the way that you advocate your views, your explanations to other pilgrim people who don't understand it, and you see in a lot of cases that the conversation turns on deaf ears, or they pick certain things apart to be upset about, or there's also a lot of shallowness to it. But just having you just being able to talk to you even through text messages regarding white fragility, it certainly makes more sense. And just being able to pick up on that verbiage has also helped me to be able to have some better conversations myself, because it just gives a bigger view of the overall picture and kind of what the climate is and what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Man, this is another question I probably should have asked the group, but I'm going to ask this group. Do we lose credibility because it seems like it's more white women, it's more Pilgrim women than men jumping into the fight? D-Lo?
You know what? When I look at it on TV, to some degree, yes. But we've been fighting this fight for years, and there's still plenty of work for us to be done on multiple levels. You know, I was talking to somebody earlier today, and it was like, yo, but you haven't marched. No, I have not marched. But I recognize there's other work to be done. There's other ways for me to be effective because the change is not just going to happen on the marching level. So as a black man, there are several levels to this, and I've got value in multiple levels beyond just trying to march with folk to get the point across. The marchers, they're going to march, and that's cool because they're putting a picture to this thing for people. But the real work still has to happen, and not all of those marchers are going to be the ones doing the real work behind the scene to make sure the march wasn't just great exercise for 10 days. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's a lot to be done. So I appreciate seeing the white faces because I hope that it's their community who start seeing, hey, maybe there's a problem if we've got all these people that look like us marching on their behalf. That's great. Keep doing that. But while you do that, I'm going to be over here and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Because while you're marching, and that's great, this has to be done.
Gritty, what's your thoughts on that?
I agree. I don't think we lose validity by any means, but it's funny when you do say we're more of the Pilgrim women than the males, but that's still, to me, I think that breaks down as a psyche thing also, because this is what's so funny. If I'm walking the dog and we out riding the bikes, if you see a Pilgrim couple, guaranteed in my neighborhood and a lot of places, 99.9%, it's always the Pilgrim lady who speaks first. And then he will opt to either speak after or give a head nod of notification.
Right. It's
like, I believe, to me, on the outside looking in, not a Pilgrim, but speaking on just how I see it, I think even though they oppress us, it just shows that how they are, the Pilgrim male is highly intimidated by the black male altogether. And to some degree, you don't see it as much over time from the Pilgrim woman for whatever reason. I don't know. I think there's probably different variations of whys or why nots. But I think that is what it is at the end all. But yeah, that's a funny thing. I don't think that'll change, anytime soon. I believe we do all need to, like I said before, stand up and stand in for what it is we believe. So I think it's wonderful to not just have your own stand in place for something that's genuinely wrong, and to change those suits. Because a lot of times we're going to need each other to get each other in the door. Like, we'll need our Pilgrim partners or Hispanic partners or whatever to speak on a different platform to get understanding. No different than they might need us on one. It's just like the hood pass, so to speak. So if you're like an interracial couple, for example, if the boyfriend or whoever the African American is brings them to their old neighborhood, and let's say it's one of no nonsense, they got to give them that right to passage to visit. And once that happens, a lot of times they're accepted like family. You know what I mean? Open arms, depending on that individual's ties with that neighborhood and the respect they get. So that's kind of essential to the same thing that we need. Like, Ron's face and voice is going to be well respected and accepted in a lot of platforms before ours. So we kind of got to get that, hey, this is my guys, or these are my people, before somebody might other ears, tap in to listen. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I mean, I think we all do that. Like before somebody gets somebody to hook up on anything, what do they do? Now, this my guy. Look out for him one time. One time for the one time. Are they with you? Okay, all right, I got it. You know what I'm saying? That's how that happens, and it's really no different through the platforms that are being spoken on. But very necessary, because at any given point, we all might have to stand there for one another. Like, in time, it'll just be not even black, white, and brown. In time, it should just be you on the right or the wrong side of the fence. That's what we're trying to get to. You know what I'm saying? And separate all the bullshit at the end of it. So.
I would say I hope that the fight doesn't lose credibility by white women joining the fight more than white men. But I also will say that it's interesting that you asked that question, Moose, because today I was thinking about all the people who I know who think a lot like me when it comes to what's currently happening in the world. And it's black women, black men, white women, and gay white men. I don't really know any straight white men that think exactly the way I feel when it comes to what's currently happening, so that's interesting. But I think part of it is that if the white man joins the fight, I mean, America was built on filthy rich white men, right? And so I don't think white men are willing to give that up, and I think they probably feel if they join this fight that they are going to give up that wealth, or they're going to give up that power. And it's so long been ingrained into the white man that this is just how it is, that I think overcoming that's going to be really challenging. And D'Lo, to your point of people telling you that you haven't marched yet, you need to tell them, A, to mind their business, and B, that there's a lot of lanes to activism. So there's a marching lane, and there is a financial support lane, and there is a conversation lane. So there's a lot of different roles that need to be played in activism. Not everybody can do the exact same thing. And so as long as you're in one of those lanes and you are working towards that common goal, there's a lot of ways to accomplish that. So mind your business, people. If people don't want to get out and march during a damn pandemic when they're tear gassing people, which then perpetuates the respiratory illness known as COVID-19, whatever, there's a lot of roles that you can play. And I would say, I know we did a call to action in our first show, but if you have the financial means, even if it's $10, donate to a bail project. There are a lot of them, and they're state specific. And those funds then go to peaceful protesters that get arrested during those protests. The bail projects will help get them out in a timely fashion so that they can continue that fight.
Man, you know what? Hey, that's a good call. You know, and that's what they say. Like, I'm not in good enough shape to be out protesting, man. You know what I'm saying?
I can't run from rubber bullets.
Yeah, they hem me up, man. I'm like, I'm
hurt myself.
Is it easier? Is it easier and to fight the fight right now if you're in the rainbow community than being black in America in this day and time?
So I
think so.
In the community.
When you brought that up, that's the first thought that came to my mind.
Yeah. I mean, I think being white of any other sort of defining characteristic that you may have, I think being white of any sort is easier than being black currently. I mean, you know, that pendulum swings, like Moose always says, and so it does go between different groups, but I think right now, if you're white, no matter what other subcategory you fall into, I think your life is easier than if you're black. I did actually have an acquaintance arrested during the protest, and he was shot with pepper bullets. He was tear gassed, but he was in jail for like maybe 2 hours. Y'all can guess his skin color. So I think if he was black, that'd be different. Just like the heavy hitters talked about the CNN reporters, right? That CNN reporter had brown skin. It has now come to know that he is Black and Latino. And he was arrested on air. And that exact same morning, I was watching my news that I always watch. There was a white reporter reporting from outside the police precinct as it was still smoking from the night before. And no one even said a word to that white reporter. And so we are at a point where there are two very different narratives in this country. And it's two very different experiences depending on what you look like. It doesn't even matter what your race actually is. It's white and everybody else. So if your skin's not white, you're just kind of lumped in with this other group. So if you can pass as white, your life's a little bit easier, and that's a whole different thing in white fragility. Because there are people of color, which I don't really like that term, but they can pass as white. So their features are white enough that people don't assume they are Black, brown, Hispanic, moose.
I'm sorry, did you say Black, brown, Hispanic, or moose?
Well, you were raising your hand.
Is moose has moose become a color? I guess
Moose, we love you, but you are most certainly Black, and we can tell that.
I am. Hey,
right?
So you know what? I thought it was interesting something you said, man, and you said so much after that I'm kind of lost it, but and no, it's okay. No, it was one of those things where I think they we have to learn, like all of us, Gritty and D-Lo, we had to learn to be a certain way, a certain type, a certain a certain get along, for lack of a better word, to make it to this point safely. Safely. And then after that, you kind of become your own person. So I'm a little older than these guys, so like I'm at a different stage where like I said, I always say that I've already learned how to survive. Now I'm just living, right? But it's unfortunate that I'm living at this late age where some of my Pilgrim brothers been living since they were 28 or 29. Whereas I haven't been living until I was 38 or 39, or maybe 48 or 49, where all of a sudden I was living, where they've been living for 20 years, and I've been living for, maybe 10 or 2. And so, when we get all the way to the end of this, which who knows when we will. Hopefully, the heavy hitters are able to add some add a spark to the movement so that we can get it moving. So, guess what, guys? We had a second show that we did Reading Runbow, and we also did D-Lo. What else did we do?
Did a quick brewing review.
We did a quick brewing review, and now guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna get out of here. So once again, man, hey, we appreciate y'all for checking us out. It's a Heavy Hitters Radio Show, man. We had an amazing guest. Matt, I don't think he's a guest necessarily, because he's definitely a part of the independent family. When he was on the show, what's the name of that show?
The Iron 3 Hip Hop Show.
Iron. Man, you said like I had it was a bad attitude. Like it was Iron 3 Hip Hop Show.
There was even a head cock. Like, how do you not?
Hiccup. I want to say it, but
she's a true ally.
True ally, man. She
true ally.
She straight up checked me.
No faking it.
Straight up checked me. It's the Iron 3 Hip Hop Show. She definitely called me the N-word. So anyway.
I would never do that.
Hey man, it's the Heavy Hitters Radio Show Part 2. You know what? All we did was do the regular stuff tonight, man. Hey, we got our little Gritty in the house. We appreciate him, man. The smooth sounds of DJ Longgreen, man. The lady of the house, the Reading Run Bow Run E. C. She's up in here, man. This is Moose Big House. with the fan in the back, although we're not recording, but that fan is breathing life into my system right this second. Anyway, man, we love y'all. Jeezy's not here. Jeezy's not here, so nobody's coming in your mouth. Peace.
We already did that tonight.
I know. It's craziness.
That's nuts.
We all